Alright people, so back to the transit van now. I've got lots of work to do, an incredible amount of work to do now. I kind of have everything I need to complete the van to the stage I plan to get it to. Okay, so we're going to be cutting and welding today. So I'm going to cut out the parts of the floor so I can fit my my ground anchor brackets in there, and then we're going to get the seat put back together, the other passenger seat put back together. I want to do that today as well, so it gets it out of the way, and we'll get those seats mounted up. Then we're going to get the floor in, and we're going to cut the holes in the slots in the floor for the seat to go down. And I've got some vinyl as well, so I'll show you what I've got anyway, and we'll crack on. So I've got a seat cover to put on and the cushions to refit onto this passenger seat, and then that's all done. Shelving alterations, I'm going to be altering these shelves again when I put them in the van. I've got a floor, got another floor cut there, and I've got my original floor here, which I might be using both. So I might be fitting both floors in the van, stack it up a little bit. Right, so I've got the van in here, as you can see, and I'm ready to cut the floor out. So I've done some measuring. I kind of got myself a straight edge here, straight line, because I want to get these all in line. I need to make sure these are in line once they're pinned in there. They'll be bolted in there, by the way. Need to make sure these are in line so that the seat detaches and attaches. Nice. I've taken away some of the insulation here, the soundproofing, sorry. I've got this seam to sort out here because it's causing like a raised spot. I'm going to tackle that in a bit. This part here, what I'm going to do with this, I'm also going to cut it here and cut it along this seam here on both sides. Again, I may just leave that. I want to cut around here because this piece on the edge, I'm going to cut that off and use that piece to stitch onto here. But I will be taking this back to here, possibly a little bit more, as this fits on like that. I need one of those end pieces just to cover over this slot. So I will have to take that back slightly, a bit more, just to fill that gap in there. All right. The other side, just literally remove insulation, position it and bolt it in. Oh yeah, I've also rigged up some temporary lighting. My lights, which I've got in here, I've just rigged them up to the battery down there. One battery, so I can keep that on charge anyway. Right, okay, let's crack on, Paul. Crack on. Wow. So my piece is cut out in the floor, and I've got a piece to go in. It looks short. It is short, but there's a reason behind that. We'll go into it later. I've cleaned up all my edges here. I've cleaned up underneath, which is horrible, going under the van, and to get rid of all that under seal, because that rubberized under seal stuff, it will set on fire if you've not got a clean edge. I perhaps could go a little bit more, but we'll see how we get on. So this piece is going to go in here now. It's almost, that side's almost perfectly straight, but there's a couple of little prowl spots which you can see here. It's no problem, that will weld up, no problem. So that's going to go in like that. It fits spot on in there, and my other pieces for the ends, I'm going to do those separately. Okay, I've got some cut out already. So what I'm going to do now is just tack this in, get it nice and level, and then we'll go for a full weld on that. So that's all welded in now. It's not exactly my neatest of welds, but you know, it's not a fashion show, is it? So it's strong. What I'm going to do is get underneath and beat some of these areas up where it's warped a little. It blew through in quite a number of areas. This transit floor is quite thin actually. Right, so I'm ready to put in my end caps now. I've made this one. You can see where I welded it around there onto some of this plate steel. I've just trimmed it off so it fits best it possibly can. I've got the other one for this side as well. I'll just use the one I cut off for this side because there's still a bit of a big gap here, but I'm not afraid of that. I'll be able to fill it up nice and easy. So this is going to go in here probably like that. Just like that. Got it nice and clamped, so time to get that welded. Alright. So that will go on there like that. I'll drill some holes here, possibly a hole there, hole here, just to anchor this down. And then I am tempted to weld it in, you know, really am. Obviously it'll be stronger. I could just weld it in, it'll be quicker, it'll be done. But I'm just thinking about if I sell the van, then I can probably take all this out, can't I? Right, anyway, so I'm going to clear up in here, get some fresh air. I've got the doors open in here, it's bloody freezing. Heating's off everything, just let some of these fumes out and stuff like that. So I'm going to get a coffee now, a clean up, and then prepare to drill some holes, and it's almost there with this one. Oh, we're in. Rock solid, that. Clip him out. That's lovely. Look at that. Awesome. So what I've done here, or had to do here, is I've tack welded these stainless bolts in. I've tack welded these M10 bolts in because that means I can dismantle this by myself. I don't need someone up here to hold them tight while I screw them in. So that's that done. Plus I've only put one light tack on them in case I want to get these off. I can just cut that way a grinder there and they'll come straight out. It is 5:30. What's my step? 5:30. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out the floor for the other anchors. But I've realised I've not even made those yet, so I need to crack on with that. I need to make those other anchor rails and then get the other seat built up. So should have this in by the weekend. And it's the floor. Right. Yep, everybody, it's 2025. It's the 2nd of January 2025, and I wish you all a happy new year. I hope that everything works out for you. Okay, so I'm ready. I've had a bit of a break actually from the last work I did, but I've had a bit of a break and I'm ready now to get the flooring. All the dirty work's kind of done, so I've got to get the floor in. I'm going to put my old floor in, mark it out to cut out the slots for the seat rails, and then I'll take that out and transfer it to the new floor. I may use both floors, so it'll be two 12mm boards on top of each other. Right, so we're in there. It's okay, so I'm going to get underneath it now and do a bit of drilling. Watch for my drill. Watch for my drill. What I'm going to do is get this out. I'm going to get underneath it, drill those holes again like I did before, take it all out and drill them and cut the slots out, because I don't really want to take this floor out, flip it over, put the other floor on it, transfer the holes, because it's not guaranteed this to match up. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do now, get underneath it, drill it, and then so we'll cut the slots out. Oh, I'm knackered, you know, absolutely knackered. We should be good to go for the next step. I've cut out my slots, which you can see there. These are actually bigger than the floor that's going over the top, because I don't want them to be seen. It's going to be hard to match these up, so these are actually bigger and you won't see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just rooting through my cupboards. I want this to be weatherproofed. Obviously you can get water inside here on the floor and stuff like that, so anything spills, I don't want it soaking through and causing it to warp and damage. So I'm using whatever I've got in the cupboards. I've got some Ron-Seal weatherproof paint. I'm going to do both sides. I'm going to pop out, I think, to B&Q. I may get some black paint as well, just to cover around the edges of it. I want it to be totally weatherproof, and I'm going to do that with the top part, which is outside as well. I've cut the slots for the on the top part, the new floor, and then that will get vinyl wrapped. Anyway, right, I'm going to paint up this now and flip it over to the other side. All right, take a look at that. So I put another coat on. I've been out to B&Q and got myself a few bits that I need, electrical items. Come back, and it was bone dry. It felt solid in that surface, so I'm quite impressed with it. I've just put this other coat on, wash the brush out, and come back in. It looks like it's drying already. That's how quick it's drying, this stuff. It does say quick drying. It's not particularly red hot in here, but quite impressed with it, actually. I like the colour as well. I think a floor would look nice in this colour. Obviously, if it was for show, I would make it a lot neater than that. I wouldn't have blotches and blemishes and brush strokes in it, but it doesn't matter. It's just here to serve a purpose. But I do like that colour. I want to paint something that colour, actually. Dark wood. It's very manly. That's done, so I'll put that to one side. I've got a few more little cover things to fit on there. I've got some plastic covers to just a cut and shape to fit on the bases, and that's another one out of the way. Right, what a mess. Okay, and the vinyl floor, it's upside down at the moment. I've got the floor plywood here that is also upside down. Okay, so this side will be going to the van floor. I'll just roll it out and put some batteries on top of it just to flatten it out a little bit. I want it to be flat as possible for when I cut it out and glue it in. I'm just thinking how I'm going to do it, because this stuff it looks like quality stuff. I'll show you the pattern I've got. So it's like a countertop pattern. I hope it looks okay. I was hoping for it to be a little bit darker, but it doesn't matter. It's what they usually use in camper vans and stuff anyway. But I've got some glue, some spray glue to put it down. I'm just going to have a quick look. I've never done this before, and not with this stuff anyway. I want to actually make sure I've got the right glue for the job. Around the whole thing with my scalpel craft knife. I was going to leave a little bit on the edges, but I'm thinking to myself now, it's going to be cut out. It needs to be trimmed to match this wood anyway, and it hasn't moved at all. I've got batteries on there, my weight's on there, my fat ass, so... Right, check this out. So I've got my anchors in, as you can see. That one's off though. I mean, it doesn't matter, it still works. It fits in there pretty flush to that side. Don't know why. I did measure this all out and tried it, but for some reason it seems to be like that. Maybe there's just a little bit of movement on the floor or something, I don't know. But it'll still go in anyway, as long as it looks alright, I'm not bothered. But what I'm going to do now, they're not in tight, I'm bottoming yet. I'm going to put some silicone glue underneath where the bolts are on here and stick them down. I don't want any water getting in or out, so I want to make sure the silicone down just under there. That's what I'm going to do now. Got to get used to putting these in. Well, that fits, the next specs any less. Now, when the seat's attached here, I won't be able to reach for that handle as it is, but how this works is, these are spring loaded, so I'm going to put the springs on next. The spring loaded, and that should lift itself up like that, so you can grab the handle from underneath to release them. So, glad that fits anyway. I'll try another one. Something's not going to fit here. Let's have a look. So. It just doesn't. Oh, better make sure they detach, haven't I? So that comes loose. Seat comes out. There you go. Seat comes out. Lovely. Alright, so the top floors, the floor is down now, the top floor is screwed in permanently. It fits like a glove, that's perfect, look at that. Okay, so these are all nice and flush, and that's how I want it to be. I didn't want those sticking up. It's a good job I put those two pieces down. Ideally, it would be better if it was a little bit lower, but it's not a problem that. What I'm going to do is get some piece of foam and stick it in between so it blocks this up when I've not got the seats in, because I don't want to trip hazard. So I'll probably make something just to cover over that, maybe some little plastic covers that just nip over here or something. I don't know. I'll make something up for it. Anyway, I want to get this floor down. It's vinyl. So this is a test piece I did yesterday with spray glue. I've looked online. I've never put this stuff down before, but I looked online and I was thinking maybe some epoxy glue, which is going to go off. It's cold temperatures now, and some epoxy glue will go off with hardener and be strong. But I'm just looking, you can actually get some floor tile adhesive which sticks to rubber and anything like that. But this is quite strong. I came in this morning and it was... I'll try and peel this up. Excuse me. I came in this morning, you can see that, look, and it was lifted just like that, and I just pushed it down and it's stuck tight, so it's not going anywhere. So I may use the spray glue, just because I'm not being lazy, but just because it's not totally permanent. Then I can get this thing up if I need to replace it. I would hate for this to be damaged and then me have to scrape the damn thing up and rip it to pieces just to replace it, because this floor now, it's in here and it's going to be a bit of a pain to get up. I've put all the... I will have the floor vinyl down, then I've got all these screws down, then I've got the other piece screwed down. So you can imagine if I've got to make any repairs on this, it will be a right pain in the ass. So if I use the spray glue, get enough down on here, the spray glue, I think I should be able to get away with this. And like I said, if it doesn't go right, all I have to do is just peel it up and get some epoxy glue. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Spray the absolute shit out of this floor. I've knocked off of here one of my relics, my Pulp Fiction video. It's broken the box. Might have to get a new video box for that. The video's okay inside. Pulp Fiction. Damaged it. Anyway, it's one of my many relics I keep on my wall. I've got the floor in anyway. I dragged the floor over and knocked those videos off. So I put the floor in and just testing it out, making sure it's accurate before I glue it. It's a little bit bubbled and weavy in places, so I want to kind of flatten this out by spraying glue down there and getting some car batteries on it to weight it down. Anything I can that's heavy, stuff like that. I've cut some slots out here so I know where to go as a guide, where my edges are. Ready to go, really. I'm going to go for it with a spray glue, I think. Right, so I've gone over everything with a tack cloth, and this is the part I'm going to glue down. Right, that did not go to plan at all, but I'll show you what I've done. Let's have a look. I've had a right battle with this. So this part here is glued. There's no glue on that bit up there. If you notice, I've pulled off this masking, this paint masking film. Don't bother with it at all. It was such a bad idea. It was good to stop getting the glue where it didn't want to be, but as soon as I put this floor in, it just collapsed and stuck to the bottom, and this went over the top of it. So I've had to rip the whole thing out, this, covered in glue, and try to get it back in again best I can. And luckily I've done it. I peeled it all back, lined it up at the rear end, then pushed it forward. It just fell into place, but I had to pull all that paint protection stuff up, so I'm definitely going to get rid of that. It was a bad idea. So I've rolled it out best I can here and squashed it down. It is lifting in areas, but it goes back down again. I'm not too bothered about that, as long as it doesn't do it in the middle. So obviously with the test piece, it did go back down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this for a few hours, good few hours, just to go off a little bit, perhaps get some heat in here or something, I don't know, and then I'll work my way back with it. So I'm going to take my time with this, to be honest with you. It's not a quick jobby, but we'll get there. Crikey, it stinks of glue in here. Right, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. The floor, I'm just going to show you the seats. I've completed one seat, all completed, built up. I'm mounting it to the frame now. So if you notice the difference here, this has got these high tension springs on it, which will force these jaws forward, so that makes it easier for me to get the seat out. So when the seat's mounted into the van, as soon as I release them back jaws there, the seat will want to lift up. It will lift up so I can grab this detachment handle here and unclip the seat out. So to get them in, I'll have to mount that in first, that side first, clamp it in, and then sit the seat down, clamp on the back end there. It's easy to show you once it's in, but I can't do it right now because I'm gluing. So that's all mounted up anyway. I'm going to leave the video here on this one, I believe, because it's going to take some time to do this floor. So I'll leave it at this for now, and I'll wait till I've done the whole floor, then we'll mount the seats in and maybe get the van outside. I'll start planning what I'm going to do with the electrical system then. Electrical system, my god, I can't get my words up today. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe reducing the shelf length, that way I can recline the driver's seat, because I can only push it so far back, and it's a lot better if I can drop it down if I need to. And I might put some a shelf at this side as well. So I've got 3 batteries there and 1 battery there. I might put one of those batteries actually under the driver's seat, so it should have 2 there anyway. I might use one of there, swap it all around without making too much of a mess. So I want to do the roof as well. I'm going to do the roof. I'm thinking of putting a TV in there or some speakers, something like that. So I'm going to do something with the roof. I'm going to put some some more electrical points. So there's lots I'm going to do with the van, to be honest with you. I want to get an awning on it, a water tank. I might make a water tank, an aluminium one myself, make it underneath, and then put a sink in here, stuff like that. I'm going to leave the video there anyway. I'm going on, dragging it out. But thank you for watching. I'll get back to you soon when I get this floor done.